Today's how to build is on K0P-3R. So copper is of course very closely related to robophilia. In the reality of Figuria, copper is actually played by an actobot, which was built to imitate robophilia, which I hope to show at some point. But anyway, so copper, same design as robophilia, same exact islander head. I've got this old style overalls torso in black, which I had one of, or two of. I filled the inside of it with putty to make these pieces stick better. So if you haven't already, you should watch the robophilia, how to build robophilia video. I'll put that there. But this is usually has 3 prongs on it, and I cut it off for putting inside. You can stick anything that's the width of a lightsaber blade in here, so you could also put, a lightsaber blade through here if you wanted to. I use these most of the time for doing the arm connections because you can put so many different things on this. So right here I've got the old style robot arms. I'll show you a bunch of different arm connections after this though. For the legs, 1x2 plate, 2 1x1 cylinders in white, and then a black jumper plate. Putting the jumper plate there allows it to spin around at the hip, which is nice. The helmet, this is going to be very annoying. So this is the old style space helmet, and this is the old style castle visor that went on the old style space helmet, except it's missing the top feather because this one I had is so old and broken. So that is a super rare piece. You could also obviously do any sort of cool space helmet that you want to make it look like the robot that you want, but I'll put links and descriptions to this piece since if you want to have an exact copper, that would be the only way, but it is an expensive piece, I will warn you ahead of time. So let's look at some of the different arm configurations that copper has throughout. So one of the craziest arm configurations I built for copper, which you don't really get to see in the animation, it's just in one of the still shots for a split second, this multi-contraption. So this is one of the sconces. They used to come in Pirates and Castle sets a lot. I don't know if they still come in sets much, but they're cool. And then I've got some robot arms sticking off and random tools and weapons sticking off. So there's a pot, there's a shovel, there's a pan, and there's a little axe. So that was then just attached with a whole bunch of robot arms, and each robot arm was connected to another robot arm with a pinchbot arm. So just sort of on down like that several times, and then connected down to copper, which was not very stable, but I got it to stay for the shot, and that was all that really mattered. Another way you could do it is sort of... So a lot of times with this, I've just got a lot of fun little black pieces in front of me, and then I just sort of build out whatever looks good at the moment for the animation. Or a still shot when I'm doing still shots. So yeah, that's a fun little whirling thing of doom. One arm variation that copper very much steals from robophilia is the extendable arm version. So this is a headlight brick. This is as many 1x1 rounds as you need, and then the end cap is a 1x1 with clip on top. So this is a version that she uses in trying to save some of the minifigs from the Cowmander. Also, when she's got the one cowboy bot and is asking where his leader bot is, she moves him back and forth between her arms. So you can do a twist in the arm, by putting multiple headlight bricks on it if you need. I think she just sort of passes him back and forth with regular arms, but different options there for the extendable arms. They're a lot of fun. I highly suggest playing around with them in your robot designs. Another version of arms that copper has very briefly is sort of these wiggly tentacle arms trying to pry apart the Cowmander's grip. So it's just a 1x1 with clip and then these big tentacle pieces. It's fun for certain situations. You know, robots need all different types of arms. One of the coolest things that K0P-3R does, I think, is spell out his name with his arms. So this gray T-bar is a great piece for a lot of different fun connections. I used it here to sort of line up a lot of pieces one behind another. So these are sort of straight robot or skeleton arms in black. So I had 4 of those on this one. So I had 4 of those arms on here in order to make the K. On the other side, with the gray T-bar, I used these bent robot arms with, again, this bar with hinges that I've cut off, because I did that a lot for making lightsabers back in the day before there was Star Wars Lego. Using that to connect a bunch of these bent robot arms. And you can keep doing that. Connect them into an O over here. Where's my last... got all these black pieces everywhere. And, you know, connect over here if you want to make it a full O. That's K-O, O, or 0, K0 rather, not O. For the P, all that you really need to do over here is push one of those down and then turn this into a bent robot arm. Put one of the clips over and do another bent robot arm up. So the same way you did the O over there, just for the top of the P. K0P. And then for the 3, you just break this open. And this can bend into the 3. But when I did the 3, as I simultaneously turned the 0 into a 3, I extended K0P-3R's arm out a little bit with just a gray cylinder, so the 3 wasn't right up next to the body. And then for the R, you just take the P and you pull out this long handle down here. Again, you've got R. So that's how you spell out K0P-3R with K0P-3R's arms. K0P-3R. So, as I mentioned before, you can stick a lightsaber blade, this one's black, through the torso. If I haven't mentioned it all, this helmet piece falls off so easily. That's why Lego no longer makes helmets that style. Put these pinch bot arms on the front of that, and then these old Batman batarang things can be 2 spinning gears of fun, or doom, whatever you prefer. I prefer fun. Some people prefer doom. Another thing you can stick into the arm socket is basically this old gun piece or anything else that has a handle that's long enough. So at one point, K0P-3R has gun arms. The way I built this gun, again, this is the 90s style gun base, space gun, radar dish, cylinder, and this is not the lightsaber blade piece, but sort of like for fences and things. I don't know what you'd call that piece. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up right now. So double gun arm action. And finally, for more pacifist approaches, K0P-3R also has lamp arms at one point. So this is going back to the old arm style, and then I'm putting pinch bot arms in, and then this little black lamp I designed is a goblet piece with a 1x1 stud stuck in the top, radar dish on the bottom, and then this old octagonal end piece, again from the 90s. And K0P-3R can have lamp arms that go back and forth, but don't light up, because they are just dark lamp-shaped objects. Lamp, 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 lamp. Oh yeah, and finally I also gave him missile arms at one point. So this is the megaphone. This is the little bottom of a rocket piece. Little cone. I had another one of these. But yeah, rocket arm. So the other thing I want to talk about with K0P-3R is some of the different leg varieties. So at one point it's spinning around up tall. This is just a huge pile of jumper plates that allow the spinny craziness, and I usually just sort of turn each one a little bit to make it into a nice little spiral. Turn each one, yeah. And then when it turns, it looks really cool. Ooh. So that's a fun way for robots to get around. Robophilia does that as well. And then the other main leg technique that K0P-3R used is put that one in place. The extendable legs, just like the extendable arms, except it has a white leg piece for that part. So good for going up and down and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's sort of the basics of K0P-3R and his many arm and leg attachments. Obviously a lot of these are applicable to Robophilia. I still know that people have requested a detailed how to build on Robophilia's arm things that I've done over time, but I hope this gets you started on building different arms and legs for your robot, minifig, hybrid, cyborg, whatever it is. You know, my suggestion is always just to get fun parts and try things out, but these should get you some good ideas for getting started.